Coming up on OC News, CSUF's campus remains almost completely closed for the rest of the semester. Next, we'll dive in on the updates of COVID-19 across Southern California. Finally, we'll see what home life is like during the coronavirus pandemic. All this and more on this special edition of OC News. Welcome to OC News. I'm your host, Kyle Fulbright. OC News is brought to you by the broadcast journalism students at Cal State Fullerton. As you can see, our show is being done virtually. All classes are taking place online, so our newscast is too. I'm joining you right from my apartment. Also joining us to tell the story of how COVID-19 is impacting our lives are my co-anchors. Genesis Osuna joins us to discuss the impact of the coronavirus on Southern California. Justina Hernandez is taking the angle of updates to travel, unemployment, and financial resources. And Rena Rodriguez is one of the many parents at home with their children while trying to work from home. Thank you all for joining me today.
Hi, thank you for having us, Kyle.
Thank you, Kyle.
We start our show discussing Cal State Fullerton. The campus is a ghost town, and it looks like it will remain that way until next fall. President Fran Vergy sent an email this morning to students announcing mandatory virtual instruction has been extended to the end of the semester on May 22nd. This announcement comes with guidance from the Cal State Fullerton Chancellor's Office and public health officials. I spent some time walking across campus this morning, and well, it just feels strange.
CSUF recently responded to this COVID-19 pandemic by canceling all in-person classes until the end of the semester. Students are now to use Zoom for online learning for the remainder of the school year.
The campus closing down, I kind of saw it coming with everything going on, just as like a safety precaution. But the adjustment to online classes will definitely be a little weird because I feel like me personally, I'm pretty bad at paying attention to like when all my online class stuff to do, so it'll definitely be an adjustment.
Usually, on a day like today, the campus of Cal State Fullerton is filled with thousands of students rushing to class. But with the recent switch to online learning, seeing the campus this empty is the new normal.
With classes and buildings such as the Student Union and the Rec Center shut down, campus is looking a little different to most.
Seeing campus this empty is pretty weird, considering that there's always people here, even during breaks. It just looks like a ghost town right now. There's nobody out here.
The campus shutdown has also brought postponement to the May graduation and has canceled all sporting events on campus. The Big West tournament was canceled right before tip-off, along with all spring sports, including baseball and softball. There are still resources that remain open to students on campus, but all are encouraged to stay home and work from there. For OC News, I'm Kyle Fulbright.
Also, all students who live on campus are being asked to move out by Sunday, March 22nd to return to their permanent residence to complete their online instruction. Now I'm joined here with Genesis Osuna. Genesis, also another postponement was graduation. Both of us graduating this semester. How do you feel about the postponement of that?
Oh man, well, I have a lot of questions as to what's going to happen in the summer as well, and when will we be graduating? When will the ceremony be, and when will I tell my family to come to town?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of questions, but it is just postponed, not canceled, so
Right.
be on the lookout, I think, soon for a date coming up. All right, the impact of closures like Cal State Fullerton is changing life in Orange County. Downtown Fullerton is empty, Disneyland is shut down, and many small businesses are closed. We turn to Genesis Osuna, who has the very latest on what is happening in Orange County. Genesis?
Hello, Kyle. A 42nd case of the coronavirus has been confirmed in the county of Orange. Bars and any other place that serves alcohol will be closed, but food can still be picked up and delivered and handed out in drive-thrus. There are no consequences in place as if there is there are consequences in place if there is gathering outside of a single living unit. A government code says fines up to $1,000 or 6 months in jail. Both are into effect for any person who violates or refuses or unwillingly neglects to obey this regulation. Now, Orange County officials say that this is not a shutdown or a shelter in place. They just want everyone to practice social distancing. as these restrictions are into effect up to March 31st. We send it to Julio Marquez to give us an update in grocery stores and gas stations, which will remain open.
I visited the Northgate in Winter Park on Lincoln Avenue and Knott Avenue, and it's more of the same thing as we've seen the past couple of weeks because of COVID-19. There are empty shelves of pasta and sauces as people are stocking up on food items. Customers have been overloading with food items and paper essentials that stores like Northgate have enforced a limit per customer. One Anaheim resident doesn't believe she needs to hoard food items.
People shouldn't be scared. They should buy their grocery like they have to.
Limitations are enforced on items such as eggs and milk, which there is a lack of currently in store. True moo, anyone? Just look at the frozen food section. Customers are lucky to even find any burritos if there are any left. The same can be said about the Walmart connected to the Winter Park Mall. A lack of canned goods as no toilet paper and water bottle packets are to be found nowhere. But if we head over to the 99-cent store in Winter Park on Lincoln Avenue and Knott Avenue, there is plenty of milk and water bottles. The virus has also affected the dine-in and cafe industries as restaurants like Portillo's, Chick-fil-A, and Starbucks have started their drive-through only orders to practice social distancing. Even gas prices have come down under $3 as this thrifty gas station on Lincoln Avenue and Dale Street in Anaheim is 14 cents cheaper less than last week. This is also affecting jobs throughout different industries.
They dismissed the temps from the agency, about 8 of them.
I'm Julio Marquez reporting from Winter Park, OC News.
And a new drive-through testing in your Belinda Hospital. The drive-through testing service is offered to those patients whose medical providers have determined they are in need of a test. The drive-through is being conducted in the parking lot of St. Jude Heritage Medical Group.
Thanks, Genesis. 46 new cases were found in LA County, which brings the total up to 190. Dr. Barbara Ferrier of the Los Angeles Department of Public Health says they are expecting an increase in the next 4 to 12 weeks. As of March 17th, San Diego has 60 confirmed cases of the coronavirus. Coming up after our commercial break, we'll be giving you an update on how Orange County and other surrounding counties are taking precautions on the coronavirus. Then, one of our co-anchors will be giving us a sneak peek on life at home with kids during the COVID-19 outbreak.
Your son wants to get a cat, but you're allergic. Do you A, prepare yourself, B, make the best of it,
C squared equals
25.
Good job!
or C, find a loophole? When it comes to parenting, there are no perfect answers, but that's okay, because you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Teens in foster care will love you just the same.
My mother was always very familiar with her neighborhood, but one day she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual, and she didn't know whether she should go forward or turn, and she wasn't even really sure where she was at. It was very unsettling for her.
I felt so much better after my son told me, "Mom, I don't want you to worry or be afraid. I'll be there for you and we'll figure it out."
Welcome back to OC News. Traveling to other countries is prohibited for the time being during the COVID-19 pandemic. Some CSUF students that were studying abroad this semester are ordered to return home. My co-anchor Justina Hernandez has more information on this topic. Justina?
Okay, so I'm recording now. So we are live right now interviewing with Samantha. Samantha, how are you doing? Let us know what's happening over there. I believe you're in Washington, D.C. for a study abroad.
Yes, I'm here for a semester at the moment. Things over here are slowing down. A lot of places are closing down, so restaurants, stores, businesses. And I am currently interning for a member of Congress. And starting this week, we began working remotely from home. So that's standard for a lot of offices right now in Congress. They are working remotely from home, but it's an option. So there's some offices that are still open. And I did go in one day this week, and then the plan was to go in 2 days next week as well.
Okay, and you said that this is, since we know this is part of CSUF, is this a class or is it, you said it was an internship, right? So how many CSUF students are with you right now, or is it just yourself?
So at the beginning, we started with, I believe, 12, 12 or 13 students. And because of the pandemic at the moment, there was an option provided to us that if we wanted to go home, we could. So I am not sure what the count is right now, but I do know that some of the students decided to leave. So I know that at least two people are planning to leave. And as of yesterday, I actually have decided to leave this weekend as well, along with a few more of my classmates. So we will be transitioning back to California this week and next week.
Have you heard if there will be an issue to get back into the state of California just because, airlines have been very strict on who they're letting into the state and whatnot?
At the moment, we have not heard any conflict. So the Associate Dean for Humanities has been keeping in contact with us, as well as our director for the Cal State DC Scholars Program and our professor here in DC as well. So they've been trying to manage this all for us. Meanwhile, we've been studying away here. But as far as they've told us, they've been keeping us in contact, and we haven't seen any worsening issues right now.
Okay, and you said you're currently in your room right now, and you said you're quarantined. How's that going? How are you guys getting resources that you need? Is there someone there providing you with all the things that you need, or are you guys allowed to go out for a bit and back in?
So we're not necessarily quarantined here. It's kind of like a self-quarantine, just because we do listen to the news a lot, and we are just trying to be cautious and not go out as much. So we go out if we need to. We go get groceries, if we just to buy the necessary items. But other than that, we've really restricted our outings. We try not to use the metro. We try not to use the bus anymore. Just kind of do things that are in a walking distance so that you could avoid public transportation and just avoid to be in areas that are really crowded. Although that's not even the case right now. The streets used to be a lot more crowded, but you don't really see people outside anymore.
Yeah. Do you know if the public transportation over there has stopped transporting?
The last that I checked, it has not stopped. I know I saw the bus running about 2 days ago, and my roommate a day or two ago used the metro, and she said that it was fairly empty, but it was still running.
Nice. Okay. So when you come back home, are you students still going to be working remotely, or or do you know if they will be giving you the full credit for this internship for the semester, or how is that going to work?
So every intern had a different situation, but for the most part, most of us were working full time as interns. Mm-hmm. So at this moment, we have actually completed our full hour requirements. And so we've gotten permission to head back home, and we will get full credit for our courses here as interns. And we are full-time students right now. So the classes that we have left that are supposed to be completed here in DC are actually going to be completed remotely via Zoom. So that doesn't change. And we'll be following the same guidelines that normal CSUF students are doing as well. So we'll be conducting online classes.
Okay, awesome. Just like back at our CSUF campus.
Right.
Well, I'm glad to know that you and other students are okay and taking your precautions, and that you will be returning home. And I hope you have a safe trip back. And thank you. We'll be taking it back to the studio now.
Thank you.
Yes, and many other students are also who are traveling abroad this semester are currently in the process of returning home. Just earlier today, the U.S. and Canada agreed to limit travel, including across its shared border, to allowing essential traffic only. Trucks and trains carrying goods are also exempt from these new measures. Some airlines, including Delta, have begun suspending flights in regards to the coronavirus epidemic. The coronavirus has also affected many of those in the work field, causing them to work remotely from home, while others have been laid off. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin has warned that if Congress doesn't act, unemployment could hit 20% due to the coronavirus economic fallout. That's all I have for today. Back to you, Kyle.
Thanks, Justina. We now have Marina Rodriguez live at her home, and she is going to show us what her life is like with her daughter while she's out of school. Marina will also be covering topics on transitioning grades K through 12 to strictly online classes and the struggles for younger students. Marina?
Hi, Kyle. Yes, so recently, obviously, now that classes have been canceled for myself and also my daughter, we find ourselves here at home trying to keep very busy. My daughter is 4 years old right now, and to try to keep her busy, it's been a struggle, but we're doing it. Lately, we've been doing a lot of like coloring, and I've created also like a workbook for her, stuff that I printed out from online. Um, with letters for her to trace, and been doing a lot of puzzles as well. So it's been a struggle, but we're able to get ahead of our time here. A lot of lunches. It's been very hard for us here at home because I'm trying to juggle school. Being a college student is hard, and not being used to having online classes is also difficult. So trying to juggle online classes and as well with keeping her busy, it's been a struggle, but we're surviving. We're going. Recently, Governor Newsom held a press conference explaining his thoughts on the remainder of the school year, and that's exactly what he had to say at this press conference.
Let me be candid. This is a very sober thing to say, and I can't say this with certainty, but I can say this quite learnedly. Don't anticipate schools are going to open up in a week. Please don't anticipate in a few weeks. And I say that because one needs to be honest, and I need to be accountable to you. I don't want to mislead you. To 6+ million kids in our system and their families. They need to make some plans at a time when a lot of plans are already being curtailed, but planning with kids is some of the most challenging planning. I would plan and assume that it's unlikely that many of these schools, few if any, will open before the summer break.
So just like how Governor Newsom indicated, it's been a struggle to keep us busy here in this household, but we're trying. And, now that classes haven't officially been canceled or postponed until the end of the year, just keep in mind that if you're in the need of any lunches or dinners for your children, you can always call your local school districts in the area, and they should be able to provide you with a list of different schools or organizations that they are providing food resources for their children within their district. So that's one thing to kind of look out for. If you're in the situation that you're struggling, you can always do that as well. With the uncertainty of what's happening right now with their students or kids, the schools and everything, it's very important to make sure to follow instructions that teachers have been emailing to you. A lot of teachers, my daughter's teachers emailed me certain things that we can do at home. So we've been trying to practice those at home as well. And if your children are actually involved in any other extra activities outside of school, for example, my daughter's in gymnastics for right now. Her coach emailed me some stuff that she can do at home just to keep her busy, because right now it's such an important case for our children to be well, healthy, and not be involved in this craziness that's happening. With this along, just keep in mind that with young children and the virtual learning, it's something very difficult. Us college students are definitely used to that, but for children, it's something that they might be able to struggle with later on. So actually, our CNN News responder, Evan McMorris Santoro, gives us a little bit more details about this. So let's see what he had to say on this report.
So who's going to be in the class today?
The running list of school closings nationwide changes by the minute due to coronavirus. For the time being, the face-to-face school day has been replaced by e-learning. Many college students may be used to logging into school, but now online learning has become the norm for students of every age.
So we have 4 classes a day with 15 minutes in between each class and a 30-minute lunch break.
Sam Montag is 13. This is his first day attending 7th grade from his bedroom.
I think going online is a smart idea because we don't know when we'll be able to get back to school. No, 12 y 12.
Westminster School, a private K-12 in Atlanta, is trying to make online school as close to regular school as possible. So the day starts with homeroom, from home.
Just follow what I'm doing. Everyone's doing it.
Carolina Mars has been teaching French and Spanish classes for 8 years. For the past few days, she's been translating her classroom lesson plans into e-learning.
We've been working on learning how to order food and being open-minded about trying new foods. Field trips are completely out of the picture now. And so we are trying to change the focus of this unit to be, instead of ordering food, to cooking at home.
This is the first day she's wrangling her students from her dining room table.
And we have everyone in class. Applause, everyone made it. Très bien.
Control over the class is one thing that I just have to let go of. I'm not there, so I'm not going to have the same amount of control.
The obvious question, is this going to work? Online education has been around for a long time, but it's never been tested quite like this.
You know, there's that rule or that guideline that your attention span is only as long as your age in minutes. So for middle schoolers, we're talking attention span is usually 11 to 14 minutes max.
Do you think that you can leave your students with the same kind of education that they would have if they were with you in the classroom?
Yes, I can probably cover everything that I need to cover, but education is so much more than what we cover in class. All extracurricular activities, robotics, all of that is part of a student's education.
For those parents with young children at home, the health and safety of our families is the obviously most important thing that we can provide our children. So just make sure to stay out there, be healthy, take your vitamins, and just keep the little ones really busy as you can. Back to you, Kyle.
Thank you. Thank you, Marina. Obviously, it's going to be a little difficult for you. How do you plan on managing your schoolwork and your daughter's schoolwork every day at home?
I'm not sure. I'm trying to, whenever she naps or she's eating, that's my time to do homework. Also, one thing we're doing is just whenever it's mommy's homework time or class time, that's when she does her homework. So that's one thing I'm trying to kind of teach her. But anytime I sit down to do homework, this is her climbing on me.
Thank you, Marina. As this unfamiliar territory continues to change our daily routines, it is important to stay informed and safe during this time. Keep updated with us with OC News every Monday and Wednesday at 5 p.m. and make sure to follow us on all social media platforms at OC News CSUF. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kyle Fulbright. Have a good night.